I'm Dana. I am in fact telling you a big fat lie in the title. It's been 7 months and like 9 days. But 6 months sounds better in a title. It's the first bit of clickbait I've ever given you, as like, deal with it, okay? So for today's video, I want to talk about what it's like to live independently as an autistic adult with no like government support, like outside support, like proper can put this down as like, this is the support I'm offered type of support. And we're starting with that because there is a massive level to which, as an autistic adult who isn't able to work, I would not be in the situation that I'm in if I didn't have a massive amount of support from my friends. If I'd had the situations that I've had over the last 2 years, prior to that point, when I didn't know the people that I know now, I very genuinely think that I would have ended up homeless. I don't know what would have gone on from that point, but I got extremely lucky with the people that I know. So I'm in a large part able to live independently on my own as an autistic adult because I had a friend that was willing to pay the deposit for my house, which is obviously massive and insane, and like they didn't even expect me to pay it back. Incredibly kind, a massive help, made it hugely accessible for me to be able to move. Because as an autistic adult, it's like, I was living with housemates, so I was living independently, but I was living with other people. So this has been my first 7 months living independently without a housemate, without somebody else who's there that's helping me with everything kind of thing, you know, whether they want to or not. They live there too, so they had to. And it's my first time without that. So as an autistic adult living independently, I don't have a job, I'm unemployed, I'm on universal credit and PIP. I'm not saving up a month's rent to be able to pay a deposit. It's just not financially going to be able to happen for me. If I hadn't had that support from a friend, from an outside source that isn't, you know, government supported, it's pure luck of the draw that I happen to have a friend who happened to have that money and happened to be okay with just giving it to me to be able to get my house, which is still mind-blowing to me. I can't believe the kindness that went into doing that for me, and I'm thankful for it every day that I get to wake up in my lovely fucking house that I adore, you know? The second part of that was that even living with roommates, I was finding it extremely difficult to find a guarantor. I got very lucky that like my first housemate, his mum owned the house. My next housemate, I think actually one of my friends ended up being the guarantor for it, but we had like reached out to their partner's friends at the time, and like we really struggled to find a guarantor. It's quite a big thing to have, and as a working class autistic person, I don't know people that own their house and have these big full-time jobs that earn all this money. Like, they're not within my social class, they're not within my social circle. I don't tend to know those people. So getting a guarantor to be able to live independently and alone, massive struggle. I know that there's like sites where you can pay for it and things like that. I couldn't fucking afford to, could I? So I again got incredibly lucky that through making videos I've met people who are outside of my social class and people that like maybe I wouldn't usually get to meet and talk. I mean, some of them are American. Like, I've met people that I absolutely would not get to meet and speak to within my normal social circles of day-to-day life, and it just so happened that one of those has a job that earns the right amount of money and owns their own house and all the bits that have to fall into place for you to be able to be a guarantor, and they were comfortable with just being my guarantor to some girl that they watched videos of online. It's a piece of kindness that was offered to me and a piece of support that was offered to me that's made this possible and plausible and something that I get to have, that I was incredibly fortunate and lucky. I've been in many a situation before where I needed a guarantor and didn't just happen to know someone that was comfortable with doing that, and it's still a little bit wild to me that they were comfortable with doing it. And again, I'm so glad and relieved and thankful for it every fucking day because I get to live in my little dream house in my little dream place. It was pure luck. It's not something that I like worked hard towards or like really put all this effort into. It was pure dumb luck that I was like able to message my group chat and be like, oh shit, I need a deposit for my house, and someone could be like, I can do that, and then I'd message and be like, shit, now they want a guarantor, and someone else would be like, oh, I can do that. Like, it was just pure luck that I'd never had at any other point in my life that made it so, like, just made it possible, never mind easier, like made it something that I was actually able to do, because I was not passing those checks and everything else that they want you to do to private rent otherwise, and I don't understand how the council lists work. I've had many an account to try and get a council property. I don't understand how they work, and also I'm not priority and like hundreds of people are applying for them. I don't see when that's ever going to happen for somebody in my position where like I'm not currently homeless, I don't have a child that needs a home. Like, there's a lot of people that are a hell of a lot worse off than me that need a council property. I don't think I'm ever going to get one, even if I did understand how the system worked. So just right off the bat, those were barriers that I either looked out on or, you know, prevented me from entering like the council system and meant that I'm with a private landlord. Terrifying. And I know that's like sort of like not the point of like my first 6 months living independently, but the act of like getting to a point where I was able to live on my own and not need housemates was really, it was a struggle, it was difficult, and I only managed it out of pure dumb luck. And again, the actual moving process, the same friend that agreed to be my guarantor drove all the way up from like the other end of the country kind of thing, stayed overnight in a hotel so that they could come to my house, help me load up all of my stuff with their fucking wife, and drive me all the way here and help me unload everything, and didn't make me pay a penny towards it. I have no idea how I would have afforded moving costs otherwise. I don't have any friends locally that have cars, and I didn't at that point. Like, again, pure luck, absolute like human kindness of the community around me. So fortunate. I have no idea how I would have done it otherwise. Another massive barrier to being able to do it, you know? So moving on from like how I managed to get here, one of the biggest things that I was afraid of when it came to living alone was having to deal with my own bills, because I initially moved out when I was 16 with my partner, who then earned enough money that I wasn't like allowed to claim benefits. So I just had 8 years of financial abuse because I couldn't claim any money, and he would very consistently have huge screaming arguments. I say arguments, I wasn't shouting back, I was just sitting there crying and feeling awful because he's telling me how awful it is to have to keep up with all these bills that are constantly coming in, going out, and he can't control his money, he doesn't know what's coming in, and he was so confused and scared by bills all of the time. When we first moved out, there was a point when an eviction notice got put on our door, and I was like, why is this happening? They can see that we live here, like, what is going on? And it turned out that he just hadn't paid rent for a year. I believe it was a year, it might have been 6 months. For however long we'd been in the flat at the time, he'd just not paid the rent. He'd been getting the housing benefit into his account and just not sending it to the landlord. He was just like, oh, I assumed that was somebody else's thing. Like, the way he explained it to me made it sound like it wasn't that he's fucking stupid and didn't pay his fucking rent, you know, like, it wasn't that. It was that, like, all of the system to do with bills and paying rent and paying council tax and paying gas and electric and water and all of these different things, it's so confusing and it's so, like, time consuming and difficult to keep up with and difficult to budget for, and it is, like, the biggest stress of life kind of thing. And then each housemate that I moved in with, I had 3 housemates in the end, I'd be like, I don't understand how bills work. I've been in a financially abusive relationship for the last 8 years. My entire adult life has been spent with this man that paid for everything and occasionally would send me like £30 to go and do a month's food shop for us both. Like, I do not know how money works. I do not know how bills work. I don't really understand how any of it gets paid, or who I'm paying it to, or like who supplies my energy and things. Like, I don't understand any of it. And they'd be like, oh, Dana, silly Dana, it's fine, don't you worry. You just send me this amount of money each month and I'll get it sorted. So that's what I did. And when those situations deteriorated, they'd then be like, well, I have to take on all the responsibility of getting the bills paid. And I'd be like, oh shit, yeah, because that's like a really big, difficult, stressful thing that like really takes lots of energy and lots of like mental capacity and lots of like mental upkeep to remember, like, you need to pay this and you need to pay that and when you need to pay it. And it's all like really complicated and stressful, isn't it? No, it fucking isn't. What the fuck, mate? I have no idea why everyone made it seem like it was so stressful and awful and horrible. So what happens for me, and bear in mind as well, my ex had direct debits. Like, I'm fairly sure that he didn't have to like manually go and send any money or do anything. Like, it all just happened in his account. And I'm fairly sure that's probably what my housemates were doing. That makes me deeply uncomfortable. Not sure why. I like to feel like I get to control when my money goes out. So each month when I get paid, the very first thing I do before I do anything else is I put my rent into a different account so that that's like sitting there and ready to go out a few days later when my rent gets paid. And then I pay my council tax, I pay my water bill, my gas and electric is with Octopus, so that just automatically goes out on that day. Is there anything else you even have to pay? I fucking hope not, because I don't think I've been paying anything else. Council tax, water, gas and electric. Like, there's really not that many bills, there's not that many things going on in a house, and I just pay those on that one day, and then I don't worry about it until the next month when I get paid again and just do that. Like, it's genuinely the easiest, simplest thing. And like, I have like 15 minutes where I'll worry about it when I first wake up the morning that I've been paid, and then I pay them and then that's done for the month. Like, I'll give when I first moved in, I was with British Gas, and I had an absolute nightmare with them that you might remember me talking about, because the only way for me to put money onto my accounts was via their app, and my phone is too old to download the app. Like, I straight up cannot download the iOS that it requires for me to download the app, and if you try and pay online, it tells you to get the app. Like, there is no way to fucking pay it without having the app, and I could not get the app, and they were just like, you're gonna have to get the app. So I switched to Octopus, and then because I spent the vast majority of my adult life so far in an abusive and financially abusive relationship, I don't have a credit score, so I then had to pay them an additional £350 to be allowed to switch to them, which has since just sat there. It's just in my like account credit in Octopus. So I don't really get what the point of it was, but it's nice that it's there, I guess. I don't really have to worry about like suddenly not being able to afford my gas and electric. Like, I don't want to say I don't worry about my bills, because obviously we're living in an economy where things keep going up and then my bills keep getting more expensive, and I am like, oh shit, I am having to budget a bit differently here, and it is a bit terrifying, and it's not like the singular most stress-free thing that's like ever existed in my life. It is not the level of stress that other people made me believe that it would be at all. And especially like people that I know, people that live independently, and friends that I have that live alone, were telling me like, it's really not that difficult, Dana, it's really not that big a deal. And it's like, okay, yeah, I do believe you and all, but also the people that I've held closest and trusted the most and actually lived with have made me think that it's this like horrible, big, fucking stressful, awful thing. And like, they were wrong. It is actually like, there's a little bit of stress when you're getting it first set up, but then it just sort of keeps going and it's fine. You know? One of the biggest perks of living alone is just not having anybody else around to move things, to touch things, to change things, to not do things. It's the little things. Like, since living alone, at no point has my bin been so full that I can't fit any more rubbish in it. Like, both my ex and my first housemate, one of the biggest issues I would have is I'd go to put something in the bin, I'd be like, oh, we've started just sort of like Jenga balancing things on top of the bin that is completely full, and now it's going to be an absolute pain in the ass to change the bin. Whereas if you just not put these like 3 extra bottles and these extra packets and these extra bits balanced delicately on top, it would have been really easy to just change and then put those bits in. But now it's like a whole fucking thing, isn't it? Haven't had that happen. At no point have I sat down on the toilet and gone to wipe and been like, oh, there's no toilet roll, there's no toilet roll. And I've also not had the situation of them waddling over with my pants around my ankles and opening the door and be like, oh, there's no toilet roll. Like, we didn't just not bother to change it when we used the last of it. Whoever used it last, I know it wasn't fucking me. We also just didn't think to buy more toilet paper. Awesome. With several of my housemates, the only time toilet paper got bought was when I would be like, look, I've bought the last 3 packs of toilet paper. I'm buying like the 24-pack fucking Andrex. Can you buy the next toilet paper, please? Like, you're using it. We all use the toilet paper. Buy it. Like, things like that, just not having to spend money on things that I'm not even the one fucking using, you know? Not coming down to find that my dishes have been used and that I just haven't been cleaned, all of that kind of thing is an absolute fucking delight. And one of the really big things of someone who's like come from an abusive background and is healing my fucking nervous system and all that kind of thing, being able to leave a mess. Oh my, it's the best. Being able to have a shower and just leave my clothes on the floor until I'm ready to deal with it. Being able to just leave my dishes until I'm ready to deal with it. Being able to just make a little bit of a mess. Like, nothing gross, nothing horrible, nothing massive. But being able to just make a bit of a mess and leave it without anybody telling me off for it, screaming at me for it, making a big thing about it. I had it often where like there'd be the one time that I made a little bit of a mess and I left it for a little bit too long and the other person must have gotten annoyed, but then I tidied it up and they didn't say anything. And then next time they make a mess and I'm like, oh, really sorry, it's just that you like, you know, fucked the entire kitchen up while you were making dinner 3 days ago and you just haven't done anything since. You've just left all the dishes in the sink and there's just food like all over the sides and you've just not done anything. Can you clean it up, please? Oh, but Dana, do you not remember that one time that you made a cake and you left a little splatter of batter over here on the side and you left the bowl in the sink? Do you not remember that? Suddenly no one's allowed to make a mess but Dana. And I tried very hard to not leave messes in spaces that would bother other people, that would be an inconvenience to my housemates and things. The tiniest little thing would happen and they'd be like, you've left it an entire shithole, haven't you? My first housemate, I went away for a month. I wasn't in the house for a month and he just didn't clean anything. He didn't change the bin, he didn't clean the bathroom, he didn't hoover. It were pretty vile because he'd been using it all still. Like, just having things where, like, if I clean it, it stays clean. If I leave a mess, it's just my little mess and no one's gonna tell me off for it or use it against me in future. It's just the thing that I've left for now so that I can focus on something else, so that I can do something for myself, so that I can run off to my little club that I didn't realise was happening that quickly, you know, whatever. Like, it's just such a small thing that feels like such a massive amount of freedom. Especially because, like, I don't want to say I was a messy kid, to be fair, because I feel like for the most part I wasn't, but I did see my bedroom as like my domain where I was like allowed to leave a bit of a mess and whatever else. So I've spent my entire life having people tell me off for being dirty, for being messy, for not keeping my things how they should be, and blah 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 blah. And it's the first time in my entire life that I can like leave my fucking socks on the floor after a shower and not be told off for it, and not be made to feel bad about it, and not be made to feel as though it's like some sort of representation of my horrible personality. And it's actually fucking delightful. I'm really enjoying it. Being able to fully decorate the way that I like has also been absolutely amazing. I think it does make me feel so much more regulated in my day-to-day life to just have my things around, to have them where I want them, to have them where I think they look best and I like them the most and they're the most useful to me in some cases, and not having anybody move them, not having them get changed, not having anything be different. Because like there's lots of ways that I think that my housemates were actually a bit unfair, and in some cases like a little bit fucking batshit, to be honest with you. But there is also a massive level of, when you live with someone, you do need to cater to them in some ways. Like, I've always decorated my bedroom exactly how I wanted because it was my bedroom. But like, fair enough that like we both live in this house and share a living room. I'm obviously not going to just plaster all of my shit everywhere in the exact way that I like. Fair enough. Boy, do I love being able to do it. I really like that. My entire house feels like a little explosion of me. It's all of my things, it's all of my personality. It makes me feel so safe and so happy, and I love it so much. And it's, you know, it's very genuinely, it is the first time in my entire life that I feel settled, that I feel safe, that I feel like I'm able to properly relax and just be myself in my space without feeling some weird sense of like being perceived, waiting for something to happen, waiting for someone to tell me off, waiting for something to be changed, waiting for something to go wrong. You know, I can set my house up in the exact way that I like it to be, and it stays like that. And I cannot tell you how much that has settled my fucking nervous system. Because like, even when I went out, even when I was like, this house is too stressful for me, my housemate is like doing these things that are incredibly stressful and distressing and shitty, and I'm having a whole fucking time, so I'm going to go out and try and get away from it. And I can't, because now I'm just worried about what they're doing in the house while I'm not there. Are they going in my room? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? Like, I don't have a fucking clue, and they're not acting like in ways that I feel are logical. So being in my house was a whole thing. Being outside of my house was a whole thing. Like, I just never felt like I had an overly safe space. And even in the months that I was living alone after my last housemate had moved out, it was their house, and they made very sure to let me know that like they can re-enter at any time. They can come into their house anytime they want to. It doesn't matter whether I'm there or not. They don't have to let me know. They can just come and go as they please because it's their house. So at no point in any of these situations did I feel fucking comfortable, did I feel safe, did I feel able to just settle and relax. You know, and there is a massive level to which, like, I was never against my housemates, like, having people over or them going out or them, you know, it's not my business, you're my housemate, not my kid, like, I don't actually care. But as an autistic person, it would be really nice to know if someone's going to just suddenly be in the house when I go downstairs. It'd be really nice to know when you're going out. And, like, I need to know the fucking routine. It really bothered me that like, there's a whole different routine just happening around me that keeps interfering with mine, and I can't do anything about it. It was a massive fucking bother, and not having that is so much easier. It's so much nicer, it's so much more pleasant. I feel so much safer. I also feel a lot more free in my like ability to come and go and go out to things. Like, I have a lot of times that I intend to go to an event and I get there and I can't actually get myself to go in. I can't deal with it. It's actually really overwhelming. It's all a bit much and I'm not doing it. I'm going home. And I found it all the more anxiety inducing to be someone who's like that when I'm about to leave the house but I'm not wearing my usual outfit, so my housemates are like, oh, where are you going? What are you up to? Which is apparently a weird controlling question if I ask, but it's fine for them to do it. And now I've got to explain like, oh yeah, I'm going to this thing, and if I come home in like 10 minutes they know that I didn't actually do that thing. And rather than understanding that I have severe fucking anxiety and it's very overwhelming, I'm now lazy and don't even follow through on things and blah 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 blah. And even like going for a walk, just not having to vocalize what I am fucking doing. I'm not like, as much as I know that I do just yap consistently. I didn't know if I was going for consistently, or I didn't know if I was going for consistently or incessantly. So we got a new word. But I'm aware that I fucking yap and talk online. I'm not actually a big talker. Like, I'm not like the quietest person in the world, and especially with people that, like, as I get more comfortable, I do definitely yap a bit more. But also a lot of it's quite an energy drain, and especially if I haven't like sorted myself and hyped myself and got my little cuppa and done all of like my prep things to be in a yappy mood. I don't want to have to fucking tell you where I'm going. I don't want to come home and have to tell you where I've fucking been. I don't want to talk to you. Like, I'm in my own little head having to deal with the fact that I'm about to leave the house and all of my like surroundings are about to be different. I'm trying to do this thing and I'm anxious and I have all of this happening, and now I've got this fucking little voice going, where are you going? What are you going to do? Why are you going there? Oh, can I come? Oh, is it happening again? Fuck off. Oh my god. I know it's supposed to be friendly, I'm supposed to like take it in a nice way or whatever, but again, why is it if I ask my housemate, where are you going, what are you up to, it's really controlling it, it's not my business, and why are you always asking? But when they do it to me, it's completely fine, and they were just making conversation, Dana, don't be so fucking grumpy. So like, I really at the time did not realise how much I avoided leaving the house sometimes, or avoided going back to my home where I paid rent, because I just didn't want to have to fucking tell someone where I was going or where I'd been. Like, the act of having to do that was genuinely like exhausting and felt beyond my capabilities at times. Especially when it's like, well, I want to go for a little fucking mental health walk because I feel like I'm about to have a fucking breakdown because I have to live in this fucking house with you. So actually, I don't want to have to tell you that I'm going on a little fucking walk. I just don't want you to talk to me. Oh my god. Like, oh, leave me alone. So being able to be like, I'm a bit overwhelmed right now. I'm feeling right now. I want to go for a walk for whatever fucking reason I want to go for a walk for. I do it. I just put some proper pants on instead of pyjamas, and I'll put my shoes on, I'll go for a walk, and I'm like, yeah, I got what I wanted out of this, that was lovely. Rather than sitting in my room and be like, well, if I go downstairs and they're there, and I know that they're there because I can hear them right now, then it's going to be, oh, what are you up to? Oh, I like your outfit. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna have to do all this like exhausting fucking small talk. I just want to go for a walk and look at a fucking tree. One thing that I do miss about having housemates was when we'd go shopping together, like grocery shopping. But also, that was something that only ever happened like right when I first moved in, and then the situation would decline a little bit and it'd very quickly stop, and I'd just be in the exact situation I'm in now, where I'd be like, okay, I'm just going to pop to the shop and get like 2 days worth of food, and then I'm going to do a delivery for like 4 days worth of food, and then I'm going to do an actual proper big shop on the shop website instead of deliver and get like 2 weeks of food. And you know, like, it's not ideal. I do much better with the ideal thing for me would be if someone had a car and they could pick me up and we'd go and do our shop together and like chat through like, oh, I might get this to do, this dinner idea, and like just a little natter that like keeps me calm and keeps me regulated and makes it feel like I know what I'm doing in regards to like food and buying things and prepping for meals and whatever else, and then driven home, dropped off, able to unpack on my own. That would be the ideal. I don't want to have to deal with an Uber driver because they're strangers and I don't know them, and are they going to get out and help me like put the things in the boot, or they just... I just wish it was standardised. Like, I don't actually care if my Uber driver helps me or not. I just wish I knew from the off which one he's gonna do, so that like it's not awkward when I'm already like struggling to open his fucking boot and he's getting out the car to help me anyway. I should have just waited for him. But like, yeah, not having anyone to like help me do the little things like that, I do wish I had, but also it never lasted very fucking long anyway, you know? So it's not, like, there is just nothing that housemates did for me that didn't either like stop very quickly or have some sort of major fucking downside that made me be like, well, you should have never fucking done that then. Like, I don't know why this is going on. Like, what the fuck. We've discussed before how I also am fairly sure I have some sort of little sprinkle of OCD. So I do have a lot of the things like my front door is always locked, and I do like the extra bolt thing at night. I make sure all of my windows are locked. I make sure that my oven is turned off at the wall because I'm convinced that I'm gonna leave a stove top on and then like either Otis will like burn his fucking paws off on it or I'll set my whole house on fire. Like there are the little niggly things that are sort of constantly on my mind and I'm always a little bit stressed about because I am a little bit convinced that I'm going to like burn down or flood or otherwise ruin and destroy my house in some way. But that's why my landlord's agency makes me pay like £14 a month in some sort of insurance, I guess. Like, it does scare me, but I also feel like I am doing the precautions to make sure that that kind of thing doesn't happen because I am worried about it. All in all, living alone, living independently as an autistic adult, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it was so much more difficult having to deal with the social aspect of having housemates that it's an absolute fucking delight, and I will do absolutely everything I can to not have to live with anybody ever again. Like anything that I can. If you see me have a fucking housemate again, if you see me fucking moving in with someone that I'm in a romantic relationship with, any of that stuff, it's because I'm financially fucked and I can't survive otherwise. It's not a choice that I intend to fucking make. I have hated living with everybody that I have ever lived with, from my family to my fucking ex-boyfriend to the housemates that I've had. I have fucking despised it. Having to be on like 24/7 social alert because there's somebody else around that might just talk to you at any given moment and then be all pissy with you if you don't reply in like a fucking eager and engaged enough way even though you weren't expecting them to speak to you. And like, it's just such a fucking nightmare to live with other people. I can't tell you how much nicer and easier it feels to do it alone. Like, I really, really can't. And it's not always the easiest. It's not always my favourite thing in the world. There's a multitude of times that I wish that someone was here to help me with this or that. But that's where I'm trying to build community and make friends with people. And the more I do that, the more I'm going to have people that are willing to like come over to my house and help me out with this and that, I suppose. And people that I will be able to do that for in return, because that's what community is. So, yeah, it's not all perfect sunshine, daisies and rainbows, but like there is quite a lot of sunshine, daisies and rainbows about, you know? And as much as I am very proud of like how independent I am and how independently I've been able to do a lot of things, I also have relied on a massive amount of support from my friends. You know, like I brought up all the financial sides that like made it actually plausible and possible for me to live independently at the start, but also just the fact that I've got my little group chat there, and if anything does go wrong, if anything freaks me out a little bit, if anything just isn't quite right or whatever, I can send pictures, I can send videos, I can send voice notes, I can send an absolute multitude of things that mean that I have people who have lived alone for a long time who do all sorts of things to the houses that they own. Like, I have these people that know much more than I do about the things that I'm asking about and that are very willing to help me and support me through it. And that makes a massive difference, and is another thing that I am like vastly very lucky to have in my life and to be able to access. So that is the video, but since we've been talking about community, that can be our segue into my GoFundMe section. It's not my GoFundMe, so I don't feel like you can be rude or mean to me, okay? I'm trying to help my community. I can't say the word community without thinking of that bit in Drop Dead Fred when Lizzie's dad's being arrested and her mum's like, but we're pillars of the community. But yeah, so first up is my friend Steph's GoFundMe that I've been telling you guys about. It's so that they can get an adapted van so that their partner Shan would be able to be transported in general in a safe way that doesn't further damage their body, doesn't further cause issue with their chronic illnesses and the disabilities that they have going on, which is what currently happens anytime they're transported by Ubers, vans, ambulances, any of it, because they have quite specific needs, and getting an adapted van would suit their needs and mean that they're able to go to things without being re-injured and be able to like live their life and have fun, and just, it would improve everything, you know. It improves their ability to get to medical appointments, which would in turn help improve their health. Like it would really help a lot of things. And because Steph's one of my best friends, I'm getting the inside scoop of how the process is going. So they are getting fairly close to getting the van and sorting things. There is still things that could go wrong, but I am crossing all of my fingers and toes, so I would love it if you guys did the same. And obviously they have not reached like the full funded amount, so I'm not a fucking financial person. I especially don't understand how things work financially in America. I believe that it means that like right now they have enough for a down payment and then it'll be like monthly loan repayments. I don't really know, but they're far enough that they've started the process, which is incredibly exciting and something I'm really looking forward to hearing more about from them. And I need to talk to them and find out how much of it they're willing for me to share. So yeah, that's all I'm going to be saying for now, but that does also mean that like they're considering closing the GoFundMe like fairly soon. So if you've been thinking about donating, if you've been waiting to get around to it, anything like that, I would really appreciate if you did it now. It'd be really cool. I'd really enjoy it. It would mean a lot to me. If you can share it at all, if you can get it out there and have more people see it, I would really appreciate it. Just having people read their story and see how easy it is to become extremely isolated as a disabled person when you don't have access to the same things that you used to. You know, like just reading their story and getting to know them a little bit through that would really mean the world to me and them. It would be lovely of you. It would be great. It'll be linked down below for your viewing pleasure, thank you. And I've also been promoting the GoFundMe of one of my local friends, Eric, who is, he's currently on a waiting list for top surgery. We all know what that's like. We all know what waiting lists on the NHS are like in general for any of us, especially for trans people accessing gender affirming care. It's a fucking nightmare. So he has a GoFundMe going so that he'd be able to go, oh god, I need to read and memorise it properly, but it's so that he can get top surgery and like live his best self and like really be who he is, and it would be absolutely fantastic to see that happen. Obviously Pride Month's over, but you can be in LA anytime. You can do it anytime, guys. It'd be really cool. It'd really make me happy. It scares me. I never want to put pressure on people. I never want to make people feel like you like have to give my friends money or whatever else, but I also don't really see the point in creating a big community like this if we're not then also going to do things to try and actually help the community. You know, like it's all very well to be like, I made a video so people feel less alone. Like I think that's very important. I really enjoy doing that. Being able to have like an actual impact on people's lives through having this community together would really like, that's the point of it in my opinion. That's the point of community. So it'd be really cool if you're able to help out either of my friends, be that through sharing, be that through donating, be that through just giving it a read and understanding someone's perspective in the world. Any of that would really mean the world to me and I would really appreciate it. And alongside that, I'm also going to link my Patreon, and it feels really mean to be like, give my friends money, and then if you don't want to give my friends money, you can give it to me. I don't love it, but also like my actual, like Seth has encouraged me to start putting my Patreon on here again, so I listen to my friends and I'm putting it in the link again. So if you want to help me out financially, you can do it via that. I'm trying really hard to stop withdrawing the money that I have in Patreon so that I can just be my savings, so that I can get Otis's heart scan, because I've been really sucking at saving up towards that, and I keep remembering he needs it like multiple points in my day and having an absolute heart attack myself because I'm like, he needs the heart scan, I haven't saved any money towards it. So I'm trying really hard to like just not withdraw the money from Patreon at the minute so that I can be like the savings account for that, so that I can do that for him. But it causes me a lot of anxiety and I'm quite terrified about it. So if you want to join my Patreon and help being like the Otis fucking heart scan fund, he's had a heart murmur since he was born. This is, I think, it's one of those things where like, I don't think it's like the singular most pressing thing in the whole entire world, but also he's my baby, he's my child, and he needs a heart scan. So yeah, that's that. Whoever you are, wherever you are, if you have a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year, and I will see you again in a couple of days.